going on, guys? Figs here with Figs Forum, bringing you guys my second place OTS deck profile, playing Phantom Knight Horus Adventure. So I was able to go undefeated all the way until the finals. Unfortunately, Yu-Gi-Oh got me, the good old, bad hands and stuff like that. But, it was a pleasure, of course, playing against Brian from Crush Cards. He's a great player. We always go back and forth at local. So, but yeah, the tournament was great. I enjoyed the deck. Definitely made some changes. Actually played the exact list that I showed you guys in the short that I had posted on my YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. But of course, definitely like, subscribe, check out the deck list, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So we'll get into it. So we got our Phantom Knight package. We got our 3 Torn Scale, 3 Boots, 2 Cloak, 1 Glove. So standard ratio. One thing I will say, I did miss the Stained Greaves. That was highly missed. There was a lot of times where I'd open up Torn Scales and Boots. I'd have access to the Cloak, obviously with combo, and then I wouldn't have anything worthwhile to grab to extend. Especially if you don't see the Horus stuff. It's nice when you see the Horus stuff, because then it just gives you a free card to get rid of. But ideally, Stained Greaves I think should be in here. So if you can fit it in here, definitely do. It's a 42 card deck, so I wouldn't go over that, but definitely do fit it in. And then the traps, just the 2 Fog Blade, 1 Wings. I do this almost every game. Games 2 and 3, I'd open up just 1 Fog Blade. It was pretty crazy. The one time I did break, playing against Branded, I actually opened up, or against Unchained, I actually opened up this and the Wings, which is kind of rough, but sorry, we still got there. And then we've got our Adventure package. We've got 3 Water Enchantress, 1 Griffin, 2 Right, our Faithful, and Driggleback. These cards stuck in my hand quite a bit as well, but again, a lot of these cards, you're able to still facilitate plays and still be able to make things and set things up. I think 2 Right is the best call right now for being able to make space. You don't care if you open it, because obviously Cherubini is always going to send this, so you'll have access to your full combo. So I think the ratios for this were absolutely fine, and I don't miss Illegal Knight. I don't think it's really necessary right now. It's not the best. 3M SETI, this card's just absolutely nuts. Then the other guys, as well as the King Sark. So yeah, like I said, this engine's just insane. I think just about all of my games where I killed my opponent was because of this. You just start playing your Phantom Knight stuff and your Brave stuff, they answer it. That stuff floats, and then you just summon this and just kill them. It was just too good. Most of the time, I actually just summoned this stuff, broke my opponent's board by using the King Sark to send, beating over stuff. And then I would go, main phase 2, then do Phantom Knight stuff to set up my board if I knew I couldn't kill them and didn't want to play into Nib. Games 2 and 3 if I knew what they were playing. So yeah, it definitely is. This engine is just absolutely insane, especially in here, because Horus, the MSETI is just a dark extender. Then I did actually play hand traps, which were bricks. At least when I didn't want to see them. So 3 draw, 3 Nib. These were great, honestly. These are probably the best hand traps in the game right now, in my opinion. I think Ash, Valor, and stuff like that are very low impact. You do need multiple of them for it to really matter. Unless your opponent's hand's not that great, they obviously are going to have a hard time playing through it, but these shut down all of my opponents. I won 3 die rolls out of the 10 rounds, and Droll, I think out of most of 6 games, Droll's just stopped my opponent's game 1 from being able to play the game, which was absolutely great. Nib was insane. I myself got nibbed probably 6 times. I got shifted twice. I lost a die roll to 2 Branded decks and got puppeted. And still was able to just win those matches. Again, it's all about knowing your deck and knowing your matchups, but being able to play through this card I think is very important. So, this deck does that very well because of the multiple engines that you do have access to. Then the rest of the spells and traps in the deck, Foolish Rhoda, obviously very important cards for most of our engines, our important engines. 3 Emperor, definitely put in a lot of work, honestly, especially when you're pairing it with other things like Nib, just because of the fact that you're able to have more options of being able to stop your opponent. And then the 3 Droplet, just best board breaker in the game. Honestly, this card has so much value. It just stops your opponent from doing everything and shuts your opponent out. Their boards just don't matter when you just see this card. You're just like, all right, whatever you did for your turn, just irrelevant. Then we'll get into the extra deck. Cherubini, best monster in the deck. IP, SP, Gloomy, and Bardiche. So I actually did drop Access Code and Unicorn last minute. I never summoned them in testing. They never came up. I just never needed them. Your Horus package is basically your Access Code. You get over everything with it. And then, of course, you have the potential to destroy so many cards with your Phantom Knight line between Breaksword and Bardiche that you have so much control that just the pop and the bounce just don't matter. So yeah, this was it for the links. I didn't play on the Road Goddess as well. I didn't think I would need it against Purely. 1 Breaksword, 2 Breaksword, 1 Evil Storm Nightmare. I did play the Downer. It came up once. This was my replacement for the Unicorn. It came up once and it was very helpful. Raiders Knight into Rebellion, just MVP of the level 3s for our Phantom Knight engine. And then for our big guys, we had number 90, Zombie Vampire. Both came up every single time I needed them. Typhon and Zeus. Never made Typhon once. It never came up, but Zeus came up multiple times. So I definitely did prefer that. So that was it for the extra deck. And then we'll get into the side deck. We have our time card. Submersible. Never needed it, never went into time, but it's definitely there in case you need it. 3 Droll, definitely one of the better hand traps as well. It hits a lot of decks right now, and I think it's very much needed for being able to control your opponent's graveyard and just letting them play as much as you wanted to. I actually do side it against Purely as well, just for the Black Cat, so that way you can just kind of stop it from being able to play.
Crow, not Droll.
One call by?
Crow, not Droll.
Oh, Crow, not Droll, yeah. Sorry, Crow. Call by the Grave, this card was definitely needed for whenever you go first, so I set it in going first. I also rely on this card very heavily for being able to stop my opponent from puppeting me. So yeah, these cards always went in against the Brandon matchup just to ensure I didn't get puppeted going second. So I normally decide this in only going first, but going second, I decided in for that matchup, or even against Unchained to stop Yama or Graveyard Effects. 2 Lightning Storm, honestly probably one of the MVPs of my side deck. This card actually put in a lot of work. I played against Philanderies. It was in here for Rescue Ace. I actually didn't play a single Rescue Ace. It's in here for just pretty much any deck that I felt like their board had oppressive things in the monster or back row slots. But yeah, definitely very good card. I think this card's just very great. 2 Cyclones came in for the Unchained matchup as well as the Purely matchup. I also had it in here for Centurions just in case that was a deck that was running around. There were a couple of them, but they didn't make it undefeated, so I didn't have to worry about it. 3 Evenly Matched. Honestly, this card was actually just not as great as I wanted it to be. The times I saw it, it didn't even actually put in the work I really needed it to. I was actually able to beat some of my opponents when I set it in and saw it just without it, just because of the hand that I drew. But yeah, it's still a good card. You definitely want it against Rescue Ace. I know they play Hertz, but you want to make sure that you have options like this, because if you see this and Lightning Storm, then you can pretty much blow them out and play the game. And then the real MVP of my side deck was Summon Limit. This card was nuts. I just flipped this card and my opponent just stops playing. I mean, if they don't have an out to my back row and they're inherently just trying to deal with my board with card effects and just playing, this just says no. And it's great because you're playing the Horus package, so if they do end up dealing with your entire board and you just still have this face up, you just summon 2 bodies and those 2 bodies just out whatever 2 bodies they put on the board and you're back to just square one. So yeah, definitely wouldn't change anything in the side. I felt like this is actually very optimal and everything that I needed, but of course it's based on your matchups and what you prefer. But yeah, I think, like I said, the deck was phenomenal. 42 card main. The only change that I would make is playing Staingreaves in the main board. Didn't miss Shade Burgundy. The trap, that card's good, but I feel like it's only good if you're trying to play Dweller or anything like that. But as far as extenders, I feel like Staingreaves is probably the only one that I would have played. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for the deck. Definitely hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, 10 rounds, went undefeated all the way up until the last round, and yeah, it was definitely a good run, so I just wanted to share pieces for you guys. This is my formula, my take, so definitely feel free to jump into the comment section below as always, and definitely let me know what you guys think. Hope to see you guys soon. Appreciate it.